What's going on? What's going on, my people? We back another week. Well, I'm back this week. Y'all see the screen looks a little different. Usually when y'all tune in, you see a couple of different squares with a couple of different people. But today, I'm starting off by myself. My people had some important engagements that they had to attend to. So we gonna rock and roll with Big Ken today. Welcome y'all to another episode of the Fire Session. Y'all already know we got somebody dope coming to you today. We got an interview this session. Very, very dope topic that we're going to be discussing with this young lady. I'm proud of her, and I don't even know her like that. But just because of her accomplishment and the things that she's been able to do that we'll get into, y'all going to be proud of her too, because I'll tell you like this, there's not enough of this going on out there. So we're going to get into that. But, we usually start the show by asking everybody how they doing. How y'all doing? How y'all doing out there? It's a Tuesday. I know your week just got started, but I hope it's gotten off to a great start. Y'all already know your boy Big Ken still in. I'm in a cast, y'all. Y'all already know I've been talking about I tore my Achilles, so still I'm still in this cast. I know a lot of people have reached out to check on me, and I appreciate that big time, y'all. Because man, to be 42 years old and tear your Achilles playing basketball is not ideal. Is really not ideal, people. So, but I appreciate you all checking on me, and yeah, I'm gonna be good in a little while, and I'll be able to wear two shoes again because y'all already know I love my sneakers. So that's the biggest part of what I'm missing, and I'm not able to walk. Y'all don't understand, but I ain't gonna go into all that. We're gonna get right into the topic. We got an excellent young lady here today. She has an amazing company called Blackstorm Vodka. Um, and we're gonna let her tell you a little bit more about it and give you a little bit more detail, and in hopes that you'll be able to find it somewhere near you and you can go and purchase a bottle and support this young lady in her venture. We got the lovely Miss Lakesha Lala Foreman joining us today on the Fire Session.
Yes. Hello, hello, hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm well. I'm well. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem at all. I mean, if I was you, I'd be doing well too, because what you're doing is a major accomplishment. It's a lot of people out there who are very interested in drinks, but not many
Oh,
people can
yes.
say they own the company.
Right.
So we're gonna get into your background first and foremost, Miss Foreman. How did you even get involved? Well, we're gonna back up a little bit. Where are you from? Where are you from?
Los Angeles. Los Angeles, Cali.
Okay, you're from Cali, but what set you claim? Is that important? Is that important?
No. No. No, I'm neutral. No, I'm
Okay,
neutral.
okay. Hey, I like to have fun with people from Cali in different areas, because I know, in California, it's a lot of different areas, it's a lot of different neighborhoods, and some
It
people are proud from.
definitely is.
Yeah, some people are proud of where they come from, so we like to give them the space to express themselves.
Oh,
But
no. No, not at all.
okay,
I can say I know him from both sides, but that's not something I want to promote. Not at
okay.
all.
Okay, no, it doesn't necessarily have to be a gang or anything like that, but I know it's just like me. I'm from Dallas, Texas, but I grew
Right.
up in Oak Cliff, part of Dallas called Oak Cliff, Texas. So
Oh,
when people,
okay.
yeah, so when people ask me what part of Dallas you from, and I say Oak Cliff, they generally like, okay, yeah, I've heard of that area before. So, so it's just one of those things. But we like to just give you the opportunity to talk about
Right.
that a little bit, but being that you're from Los Angeles, we
Hmm.
know that there's a lot going on out there.
Oh,
There's a
yeah.
lot of opportunity, but there's a lot of competition as well. So
Yes,
let's talk about your background as far as your educational background. Like, did you attend college? If you did,
definitely.
like, where did you attend college at? Like, talk about that a little bit.
Well, not one of those huge universities like, the HBCUs, which I would love to have been able to attend one of those. You just have such an incredible experience when you're attending a college that's like that. So, I did a University of Phoenix that's out here. That's like one of those colleges where they expedite your learning. Uh, you know, having kids and working and being able to afford to be in college and making sure that your kids are taken care of was very, very important. So we did what we had to do, with us having that entrepreneurial DNA in our, you know, that was the easy part.
Yeah.
Starting businesses and getting it where it needed to be, that comes easy. The college where you go just lays a platform on how you want to do business and who you associate yourself with. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, we're not going to minimize University of Phoenix. That's a great school, and a
Right.
lot of people have attained degrees from there, and it's accredited. So that's all that matters.
Yes,
Because guess what? Your degree holds the same amount of weight as anybody else's. I tell people
definitely.
that all the time, and I'm an HBCU grad, Paul Quinn
Okay.
College here in Dallas, Texas. Also attended Prairie View A&M. So
Hmm.
my family has been around HBCUs forever.
Right.
So I understand the meaning of that, because when I go into the corporate arena, in which I actually work in doing my day job, a lot of people, previously they would look down on HBCU degrees, and it's less than
Right.
in a lot of ways that people think that way, right? But when you start working and they see that you're just as capable or more capable than they are with their high degrees per se, then they kind of change their idea of, that degree thing, because they, at the end of the day, we're learning the same, but it's how you apply it that's important.
Exactly. You're absolutely
So
right.
as long as, because you can go to get a degree from Yale, but if you're not applying that Yale knowledge, it doesn't matter. Somebody else
Right.
is going to be better
That's
than
true.
you.
Absolutely.
Definitely, definitely. So I heard you say you have kids. Are you
Yes.
married? Anything like that? Okay.
Yes.
So
All of the
that's
above.
yeah. So that's very important to me and for the audience, because there are people out there who are in your position, who are married and who have
Right.
kids, and who feel like they can't go back to school or they can't attain these things. And that's important that you've done that. So
Oh, definitely.
you're a living testimony that it can be done. So
Oh,
people,
yes.
stop with the excuses. Figure out a way. Find a way.
Yeah, they make it easy for you to go back.
Yeah, yeah. So find a way. So when you attended college, what was your major? I'm assuming business, but you can tell me, like, what was your?
Psychology.
Oh, wait a minute. Back up, back up. Big Ken was wrong. She said psychology. So okay, so that makes it even more interesting, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you're a psychology major. Well,
Yes.
I mean, I get it. You know what I'm saying? A little bit. I tie it into, to my thought process. But okay, so talk to me about how you got from psychology to being the owner of your own vodka brand.
Okay, well, I went to school a long time ago, probably like over what, 15, 20 years ago.
Okay.
So when I decided to go for psychology, it was just based on making sure that younger kids that look like us was getting the help that they needed. That was my whole plan, was making sure that we took care of our kids. You know how it says it takes a village. So that was my goal in doing that. But like I said, even working and making sure my kids was, straight, there was no let me get out of this and then do this. I just
Okay.
stayed at a 9 to 5 that made sure that I was able to feed my family and make sure that everybody was okay. I did tons of different businesses while I was making sure my kids were okay. It was just until a couple of years ago I decided to get into the beverage industry. So it was
Okay.
just like, okay, I did trucking company. I had a medical business. I did clothing. I did essential oils. I've done so many different things, photography, video, limousine. Um, it was at the point to where I said, okay, what can I do that's different than what someone else is doing? Because, if you're doing clothing, there's probably like 1,000 people in your area doing clothing. If you go to an event, you have like probably 15 people doing candles and essential oils. So I had to say what was going to make me different and take me out of that circle of what everyone else was doing. And when I just looked at, cocktails and bartending and different brands that are out there, it required me to do the research. And I'll always say, okay, well, how many women are doing it? How many black women are doing it? When it started to narrow it down to where there were pretty much what 2-3% of us, I
Yeah.
was like, okay, there you go. That's where I need to be.
Okay.
And that's where it started.
Okay, well that's quite a journey because it's interesting that you mentioned the things that you mentioned because if you know our audience that watches the show regularly,
Hmm.
they understand that we have people on here all the time and they talk about their professional journey and most of them started out doing something totally different
Oh yes.
than what they're doing currently. And it's always funny that people, you know, as young people, we have this thought process that we're just gonna go from college and do this for the rest of our lives, and
Mm-mm.
this is this perfect scenario. And sometimes, you know, that's not the plan. That's the plan temporarily, you
Right.
know, but like they say, God got other plans for us, so he take us other directions. So it's interesting that you went and tried those different things and then you
Oh
end up
yes.
with the, you know, with in the beverage industry. So
Right.
also I wanted to ask too that you pointed out because you're a woman owned business and a black woman owned business, so that's a
Yes.
minority owned business. So
Yes.
are there any things that, you know, that you take advantage of or that you can take advantage of because you're a woman and you own a business or a minority owned business?
I take advantage
Okay.
of all of it, because there's you since we went through the COVID climate, it changed the way individuals looked at certain companies. And there were a lot of things that were going on with, black owned businesses or even black individuals. And they started to support more of the black owned businesses. So, as a marketing tool, if that's what they're supporting and promoting, then you want to be right in the front of it and saying, okay, I'm minority owned, I'm black owned, I'm woman owned. Because with those companies, they allow you to get more funding. They're placing you on shelves just because of that. Now, in a different scenario, you have to understand there's certain places that don't want to hear about black owned.
Hmm.
That's just the reality of it. So I can't say now, well, I'm woman owned. I can promote it that way. And
Yeah.
then depending on who else you're dealing with, I could just say minority owned. My thing is just to get it in front of them for them to try it. And if my marketing means that I need to not put the black owned in front of it, then I won't. I won't have to do it. Once you look it up, you'll already know that it's black owned.
Okay. Yeah, because that's interesting because in the industry that I work in, which I don't divulge on for reasons, but you know, I have sightline of a lot of the things that, you know, a lot of the perks that come along with, you know, being minority owned or being you know, a woman owned business, and I
Right,
see that in my line of business. So that's why I wanted to ask that question because you'd be surprised. There are a lot of people out there with businesses that fall into the same category that don't take advantage of the things that they could
right.
just
But
because
they
they don't.
may not know. They may not know. And if they're not used to actually running a business properly, then they just don't know where to go to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
they have information that's right there. If you Google it for funding or minority owned, it comes up. But if you are not used to managing or doing your business in a proper way, then those things you're not even looking for. Because first of all, you got to have your paperwork got to be on point for you to even get the funding or for them to even look at you to say that you're minority owned.
Okay. Okay, and that's a fair point, and we always point it out, and that's part of the reason why we do our show, because we want to put people in front of the audience that know things,
Mm-hmm.
that have a knowledge base for these different areas, and be able to point out things that maybe somebody interested might be looking at the show and they might be thinking through the process, and then you might
Right,
say something to say, you know what, let me jot that down, let me make note of that
right,
because I'm interested, but I didn't know that I needed to do A, B, and C in
exactly.
order to get that done. So
Right,
that's the importance of kind of what we do here is just trying to make sure that people have a knowledge base for anything that they might be interested in.
right.
So we appreciate you pointing that out because,
Thank you.
yeah, as the old saying goes, my people perish for lack of knowledge.
Right,
And it's simply because we don't try to find it out. You know what I'm saying? We want things to be, you know, handed to us in some instances, but the information's out there, especially
It
with the
is.
internet and Google. You just got to
Exactly.
go find it.
And sometimes individuals kind of make it impossible because if you don't know that you even need it, there are other classes will make sure that their people are taken care of and know the information. And we sometimes will keep it to ourselves thinking that they're going to be ahead of us faster and they don't want the competition. It's like it's not that. It's enough for us. So just in dealing with the Blackstorm Vodka, I also have the Blackstorm brand, which is a distribution company. And
Mm,
what I do, and I actually have, I don't know if I think you guys only know that I have Blackstorm Vodka, but in order to get your product on shelves, you need distribution.
okay.
Without distribution, it doesn't move at all. Now I'm in Cali and I have certain places that I want to be in, and it's individuals that I know. And they're like, well, you can't do it if you don't have distribution. So I'm like, okay, but I don't want to give that 30% to someone else. How can I keep that in to myself? So then I became a distributor myself. So now I have full control of my brand. But the things that I learned along the way, I had to search for that. I had to get it. I had to bump my head for it. So the brands that I have now, I make sure that they know everything so that they don't have to bump their head and they can get on these shows without the pushback. But there are individuals that don't want that. They make it so hard. And I'm like, no, that's not, we all need to be on the shelves. If Belvedere and Grey Goose can have done it for those 20 some, 50 some years, then we can have our brands sitting next to each other on the shelf. So that's how I make sure that we are given all, I mean, they have all the information that they need to have a successful company.
And that's dope that you're doing that because, again, like you said, we have a lot of people out here who know stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
they're afraid of the competition. So they figure if they hoard all the information, it will help them. But people got to
Mm-mm.
understand, everybody has their own taste.
Yep,
So especially
exactly.
when it comes to alcohol, so just because you have an alcohol brand and I try to support you, if I taste it and it doesn't speak to me, then I may not, I may
You're
not
not
buy
going
it
to get it
again.
again.
Yeah, I
Right.
may not
You're
buy it
not.
again. But the other person who has it, I might try theirs and I might actually like it. And it's
Mm-hmm.
nothing against one brand or the other. It's just a preference.
Exactly. And
So
nothing is wrong with that.
yeah, so like you said, there's room on the shelf for everybody, but you just have to be willing to, I'm one of those type of people where I err on the side of caution and I like to share information because I want people to share information with me. So
Right.
I think if I share information, I think I'll get that energy back, right? When I'm helping people, I'm gonna want the help. So if
Right.
I'm just like when I got involved in podcasting and pushing toward radio and all that other stuff, like I had a lot of people who were already in the industry give me information to
Right.
get me going. So
Right.
and have helped me along the way. So I figure I have to pour that back into people when they're asking. So we
You
appreciate
definitely
you
do.
doing that because that's big and people actually appreciate that in the long run, and I hope those people that you're assisting, what I'm
Hmm.
saying, show you that gratitude. Definitely.
They definitely do. They definitely
that
do.
that's dope. So okay, so my next question is, what does it feel like to get up every day and do something you love, do something that you're passionate about?
It's an incredible feeling.
Mm,
I think any job that I've ever done, I had to enjoy it or love it for me to be able to give my all to it. This particular business, I'm able to help others. So I think that's the part that feels good. Because you'll have companies where you're just doing so much and it's always for pretty much your family or your employees. But when you create a platform where you are educating other brands and they rely on you for the information that you have, and the information that you give them and the direction that you give them allows them to get even further in their business, and whatever you're saying that you're going to do is being done. That's an incredible feeling for me. So you wouldn't have thought, I wouldn't have thought that it would have been like that, because again, I started with just Blackstorm Vodka and then self-distributing Blackstorm Vodka. then there was a need for distribution for everyone else. So now people are hearing about me just based off the information that I am providing to them.
Mm.
So in an industry where I've only been in it for 3 years and I have, I'll say now 11 brands under my distribution and accounts with Total Wine and Reserve Bar and the connections that we have in different states. It's an incredible feeling. It's an
Okay.
incredible feeling.
Okay. So you, well, let's stay there for a second. This is the interesting thing to me, right? Because you
Okay.
talked about your journey. We'll go back to that for a second. You talked about your journey. You work a 9 to 5, then you went to
Mm-hmm.
these different iterations of businesses that you wanted to try out, and now
Mm-hmm.
you're here and you're able to get up every morning and do something that you're passionate about and that you love doing. Like, could you think back to when you were working a 9 to 5, and could you imagine this being the way it is now back then? Could you even fathom that back then?
No. So I honestly recently just quit my 9 to 5 January 1st. So I had
Okay.
been working up until January 1st, 2022. Um, Being in this industry, I would have never thought that I would be here. It was just, I was a consumer. It's like I was just drinking. We partying. That's it. Owning it, no. Um, every business that I've had, though, I've never had like the overhead, or it was always 100%, hours and doing all the realms of that business. So knowing how to run a business successfully, I can do that with my eyes closed. But being in this situation where now you're helping other businesses, and even with consultations, I can be on the phone with individuals for probably, I'll say, 5 minutes, and I can tell them everything that they need to do from the beginning to end, and they up and ready to go. So
Wow.
no, I'll say not no 10, even 5 years ago, I didn't think I was going to be here. Definitely not working at 9 to 5. I never thought that at 40 something, I would not have to work with on a 9 to 5. Being able to, I feel like being able to just get up and be there for my adult kids when they need me
Mm.
is just to be able to just say, okay, this is what I'm about to do. That's the best feeling. That is the best feeling.
Yeah, that freedom sounds amazing. I mean, I'm
Oh
working I'm
yes.
working toward that, but I totally understand, and that's what we preach all the time is that, sometimes, you're working towards your passion, and sometimes you need that paycheck. So you have to keep working to get that paycheck until your
Right.
passion becomes your paycheck. So in this instance, this is exactly what happened for you. You worked that job, that 9 to 5,
Mm-hmm.
until your passion became your full paycheck. Now you don't have to worry about that 9 to 5.
Not at all.
I know that's an amazing
Not
feeling
at all.
to
It
have that
is.
freedom. Okay, so when with this amazing feeling that you have of working for yourself and that freedom and being in the field that you're in the industry that you're in, since you've been in this industry, which you said 3 years now, is there anything that has motivated you or inspired you in this field that you're in? Like, can you talk to us about what's your why? Why do you do what you do?
Um, the why is to make sure that my kids can um, be proud of something that I'm doing, because we normally do businesses that's like out the back of our trunk. We do our vending events, you know how we do it. But to have something on the shelf that my kids can see and be proud of, that's the why. Um, to be able to no longer be here, and the business still here,
Yeah.
and the blueprint that I've laid out for individuals that are following it, that are in any different state, they're following it. That's the why. So now, if I'm laying out this blueprint so that I can help you and someone else, then I need you to be able to do the same thing for someone else that needs their help. So no one can come on the Blackstorm brand and not follow that blueprint. Which means if you have a restaurant and I have my brand on there, you have to open that door for all the other brands that can go on there as well. If you know anything about the industry that can help us out in any way, you need to not hold on to that information, and you need to pass that on to someone else that can benefit from it.
Yeah, that's again, you all here. It's a common theme here with everything that she's doing because she constantly wants to contribute to other people's success and give back to other people. Even though she's become a success, like she didn't look down on it and say, "Okay, I got mine. Now you got to get yours." She is giving back. She's giving the game back
Oh
to
yes.
people who are very interested and people who are asking questions and want to know. And again, that is super dope because not enough people are out there doing that. And like you said before, people are afraid of the competition. But,
Right.
hey, like you said, there are people who are coming to you asking you these questions, but you already have the infrastructure in place,
Mm-hmm.
right? You already have distribution. So some of these people, they don't want to be bothered with the distribution piece. They just want the product, right?
Right.
So they just want to produce the product. And now that you can produce, now that they can produce the product, but you can distribute it for them, that's a huge help.
Oh
Plus,
yes.
it's a help to your pocket as well. So it's a
Yes.
win-win for everybody
It's a win for
involved.
everybody because new
Yes,
brands can't come out. No distribution company is picking up a new brand
yes, ma'am.
at all because they want you to. They need a story. They want you to convince them on why they need to change their palates for after drinking something for so many years. So why they need to try yours. And I'm
Okay.
like, this no.
So that's interesting that you bring that up. So why should somebody try your drink? What is different about Black Storm than any other vodka?
Okay, so back in the days when you were drinking vodka, it was basically like a potato based vodka, and it was kind of like a low bottom shelf. You get a hangover and headaches, and people swore they would never drink vodka again because they just had such a bad experience when they were in college. So with mine, I can, say now it is definitely a very smooth vodka. It's made from corn. No hangovers, no headache. And I also will throw in that it's black owned, woman owned, and minority owned. But before I would say any of that, I make sure they try it first. And then they tell me what they think. And then I tell them everything else.
Okay, so I'm a transparent moment with you
Okay.
because like I've never been a drinker like that, right?
Right.
The company that I work for now, they actually have access to stores and things like that, and they actually have alcoholic beverages in the building.
Okay.
So, because when I started working there, I was enticed by a few brands that I saw on TV. We ain't gonna plug those brands.
You bet not.
See, I know better. We're not gonna plug those brands, but they appealed to me, so I tried them, and I
Okay.
didn't have my first alcoholic drink till I was 28 years old.
Okay.
So I'm still not a drinker like that. When I go out, I'm usually gonna have a couple of drinks. So for me to find a certain drink, like I'm a snob when it comes to it because I don't drink much. So if I
Right.
do drink something, I want that to be good
Exactly.
because I'm only
Exactly.
gonna drink a little bit.
Right.
So it's interesting that you say, what yours doesn't cause hangovers and things of that nature, because to me, that would be a great selling point because for me, I've never been drunk before. I don't
Wow.
plan on it. So, I
You don't
mean,
ever want to be.
no, no, I've seen it and it doesn't look appealing to me.
Right.
So I appreciate your thoughtfulness going into that
Mm-hmm.
because you're thinking about the consumer. And a
Yes.
lot of brands out there don't think about the consumer. They think
Mm-mm.
about the bottom line.
Oh, definitely, definitely. But the
So
people that are marketing, it's the marketing department that's supposed to think about the consumers,
yeah.
right? So, because of our age and as we get older, we want to be able to sip on something and be okay for the next morning. Now, when you have the younger generation, they don't care. They want to just get to the highest level and that's it. If they can't get to that, that level of being intoxicated, then they really don't want it. So just understanding who you're selling to makes a really big difference in certain areas. For instance, you don't drink, I wouldn't even really. I would recommend vodka because I want you to try because you don't drink, and so you can taste it. But you're gonna taste the vodka straight. Normally, you have individuals that taste their vodka in a cocktail, so it kind of hide what the actual vodka tastes like. I do the opposite. I want you to try the vodka first so you can tell how smooth it is, and then you try the cocktail. So now you know why the cocktail tastes the way that it does. And if I'm dealing with an individual that says, only drink dark liquor, then I'm say, okay, well, I have a bourbon for you. I have a nice bourbon, smooth bourbon, and I have a vanilla whiskey. So just
Mm,
knowing what those individuals like and what they like to do, I know what I need to put in front of them. Not everybody want to drink vodka because if they've been drinking tequila all the time, then their taste buds only wanted tequila. I've tried it and I'm like, okay, just try it a little bit. And they didn't like it because their palates is already set
yeah.
for a tequila. So you just have to understand who you're selling to. That's all it is.
Yeah,
But you know,
and for me, I don't. My friends laugh at me because I'll drink anything. Like I literally will. Like they say, well, don't mix brown with white.
mm-mm.
I've done it, and I didn't have any ill effects from it because again, I don't consume a lot of it.
Right,
So I mean, maybe that's it. But like you were saying, I when I try any alcohol, I try not to try it for the first time in a cocktail.
right,
I want to have it straight because I want to actually taste what that individual drink tastes like.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Before I mix it with something.
Right.
So because some of this stuff it tastes great, you know what I'm saying, in a certain drink when it's mixed
Mm-hmm.
with certain things. Then
Right.
you go to the store and you say, okay, well I had that, so I'm gonna try that, and then you take it home
Didn't even
and you
like
put it,
it.
yeah, and you wasted your
And
money
you don't
because
like it.
let's be honest, you know, in order to buy a decent, you know, a decent bottle of alcohol, they're gonna, you know, some of those are a little pricey. Some of them are a
Mm-hmm.
little pricey, and you don't want to spend, you know, 40, 50 bucks on a bottle or more, and then you
That you
get
don't
home
like.
and it's not what you want. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Now, don't get me wrong. Some of y'all out there balling like that, and it don't matter to you. But Ken don't like wasting money. I got kids.
Man.
So Ken don't like wasting money. So I'm not trying to waste a whole bunch of money. So I appreciate, you know, the product being consistent in what I need it to be. So
Right.
yeah. So Miss Lala, that's what I do too. I like to taste it individually, and
Right.
then you know you can pour me up something mixed, but let me taste it first though.
Right.
So
Oh
every
man.
business has a brand, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you know, Blackstorm Vodka is your brand. But can you talk to us a minute about what are some keys that you could give people for building a great brand?
Consistency is number
Mm.
one. And before I say consistency, it's your foundation. I'll always say when I deal with individuals that's trying to start business, I always say make sure your household is clean. Make sure your mind is at ease. If you have any issues with anything, this is not the time to be starting a business. I say clear out everything. If your husband, your wife, your kids is good, then you're good. And once they have that foundation and they are secure in what they're doing, when they start, they need to continue. They have to continue. Not I'm thinking of doing this. Oh, I I may want to do this. You have to be sure. And
Yeah.
the first question that I'll ask is, what's the name of your company? What's the name of your product? If they don't have that, then I say you're not ready. Because every time I think of anything that I want to do, with whatever type of brand it is, and I'll get that name, I will get the domain. I'll trademark it or copyright it so no one else will get it. I'll do whatever social media platform, but I'll get that name and keep it. That lets me know that once I get to the next step of starting this business, I already have the name. So now I got to just execute and push the button, and there we go. So I'll always say make sure your foundation is straight and consistency. Stay on it and keep it going. Don't be distracted by the things that are out there. Anybody that has anything negative to say on why you're doing this, when, why, just keep it away from you and just stay focused.
Yeah, that consistency is big, and you know what? I keep pointing that out because I have to tell my older sibling, one of my older kids
Hmm.
that consistency has has been coming up in every conversation that I have with people about their successes and their businesses, and even when I
Right.
watch other podcasts and shows, when people talk about some of the most successful people in different fields, that word consistency comes up consistently. So
Hmm.
I'm like, if you have nothing else, you have to keep plugging away until you become successful. And
Right.
sometimes that is not easy because you can be discouraged. Things can happen along the way. But if you have that goal and it's really for you and it's really what you want to do, you'll push past
Hmm.
all these obstacles to make sure
Exactly.
that you're successful. So that's dope that you pointed that out too, because that is a huge one. Consistency, folks.
It really
I'm gonna
is.
get. I'm gonna make a shirt that says that consistency across my chest, so people will understand that's the
Yes.
message. Definitely.
Mhm.
Okay, so with you having been in business the past 3 years, that also encompasses the time that we were in a pandemic. So how did that
Yes.
affect your business?
I mean, it was actually great for my business. It was great. All the funding they were giving away,
Yeah,
they were just giving away too much for me to not take advantage of it.
yeah,
And then you had to stay at home to work. And I'll say for the last 10 years, I've been saying I wanted to stay home. I wanted to be somebody's housewife. So they gave me that opportunity to work at home. I was like, let's go. And that whole year, I was able to perfect my brand, um, focus more on the marketing part of it. Because without marketing, there is nothing. Because you have to market yourself. They have to see it, they have to believe in it. And that's something that I was not used to doing or just took for granted. So I was able to work on that and how I wanted to get my product out there to everyone so that it became a household name, not just in the Black community, but in every community. I want everybody to know about Blackstorm. So COVID was my best friend. I'm so sorry for others that did not feel that way, but it 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 helped in a lot of different ways to see what you wanted to do with your life, to see what you needed to do, what you didn't want to do. Made allow me to be more focused on my kids inside the house, on what I needed to do with them, to just be calm and patient on the directions I was going. So it was a good thing.
yeah. A lot of people thrived during the pandemic, and
Hmm.
for me, again, like you said, working from home, which I was able to do, also enabled me to to dive into this more, the
Right.
podcasting and radio shows and things of that nature, because it's something that I always wanted to do, but I never really had time to do it per se. I say that in quotations because you make time for what you want to do. Let's
Exactly.
just say that. So I didn't think I had time until I had nothing but time.
Right. Right.
So it became apparent to me that these ideas that I had in my head and these things that I wanted to create, I had an opportunity to do that. And a lot of people, including myself, were able to capitalize during the pandemic. So, again, like you said, there's a lot that happened, and there was a lot of people that that had things happen during the pandemic that were not so good,
Right.
but I was blessed to be able to develop some things during the pandemic that actually were able to help me and push me toward being able to do what I'm passionate about. So
Right.
yes, ma'am. So my next question is, what's the most difficult thing for you in the field that you're in the industry that you're in? What's the most difficult thing?
Um, Convincing someone to change their preference
Mm,
of vodka or rum or bourbon. Some get so stuck in drinking what they're used to, and now I got to convince you to try another brand and to love this brand. Our folks will buy our brand because it's us.
mm,
But if they don't drink, they're only going to buy it once. So you want those that's going to continuously buy it. Every time they go out, they're asking for it.
yeah.
And then they're going to tell someone else about it. So that may be the only challenge that I have is just convincing somebody to try it and love it and continuously buy it.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's understandable because every new brand that comes out, if it's not endorsed by somebody astronomical, they all have to
Right.
go through those same baby steps, as we say, and build that, build that steam, and people get to know, the brand, the taste. And it's also important, again, like you said, um, who's the who behind the brand.
Right.
Sometimes people will hear the story, like, like, again, I'm not going to point out any brand in particular, but there's another brand that carries the name of a black man,
Hmm.
and it came out, I think, during the pandemic or around the pandemic time, and it took off simply because it was attached to a black man and his story,
Hmm.
so people gravitated toward that. So it's also good to have a good name behind the brand. So when people see how, oh, okay, that's her brand. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna support that brand because she's dope. Even if they don't drink, sometimes people will buy the alcohol for an event and things like that just because they want to support you and they don't even drink.
Right. Right.
So that's why it's important. But like I said, with the way you handle business and the things that we've heard today during the interview, there is no way that anybody that's around you or have access to Blackstorm Vodka or any of the brands that you support could
Right.
not support you because of the fact of you're a giving person, you're giving, and you're going to get back tenfold. I believe that for sure.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so what's your ultimate goal professionally? Like we know you distribution, you got the distribution thing down. You got, your own brand. So
Hmm.
what's your ultimate goal?
Ultimate goal. I really want to have. I want my distribution to grow even bigger than what it is, to
Hmm.
be nationwide, and my competitors be like the RNDC and Southern. That's is definitely what I'm working on right now. Just giving our people just a better opportunity and allowing them to shine. That's it. Just that right there is my name. Just the Blackstorm brand.
Okay.
They're like, okay, I know exactly what she's doing, and people gravitate to me because of what I stand for, and not necessarily just to be on the shelf, but because of what I stand for. I want them to be on that same platform as I am, and then maybe down the line they'll be doing the same thing, and then hopefully they can leave their their brands to their children, and then their children be in the beverage industry, because it's still only what 5-7% of us,
Wow.
only 5 or 7% of us. And I'm trying to make it so that when you're wanting to support someone because you think it's black owned, then you need to do your research and make sure you're actually supporting someone that owns their brand 100%, not just because they put a celebrity on the face of it and they're the ambassadors. No, do your research and understand there's a lot of brands that are 100% owned, that are premium brands, that are really good, that are really doing really good for their community.
Okay. That's amazing. That's amazing and that's dope. And the last question I wanted to ask before we wrap up, are you working on any other big project or business ideas right now that you can share with the people?
Whew, no business idea. I had to slow my brain down for that because it does come up. I had to slow it down, but I do have a huge event that's coming up next year, which is September 9th, and it'll be my first wine, beer, and spirit festival in Los
Mm,
Angeles. And that's just getting all the smaller brands together to network, support one another, have consumers come out to try their product. It's pretty much a celebration. So I'm like celebrating everybody that that's under the Blackstorm brand, and those who want to be under the Blackstorm brand or just get into the industry. I want to celebrate them on their journey because it really isn't an easy journey. It A lot of times when I have these phone calls with individuals, they know nothing. But I'm like, but you just spent all this money. How do you not know? So I'll give them literally probably an hour of my time just to give them enough information where they can feel confident getting into this industry. And it works. It really, really works. So this event that's coming up, I'm praying and hoping that everybody come out and celebrate these brands and enjoy it because we'll be doing it every year. And yeah, that's pretty much it for right now because there's
Okay.
so many, just getting these brands out and talking to these retailers, making sure that they're placing our product on their shelves and it's staying there is a job in itself. But then to create other avenues and platforms so that the consumers can come out and try these brands so that they can go out and even ask for these products. Because you, as long as I've been out, as many stores that I'm in, as many states that I'm in, there's still individuals that don't know about Black Storm.
Mm.
So that means I have a lot more work to do. So that's what we do every single day.
Yes, ma'am. And we here at the Fire Session are gonna champion your brand,
Thank
especially because if you know Benji, everybody knows Benji, and
you.
Benji is a wine connoisseur, but we
Yeah,
also partake in other beverages. I'm not a wine drinker. So,
right.
so Benji's always on me about that. But I've never been a wine drinker, but I do partake in beverages every now and again, and usually it is vodka. So
Okay.
I'm definitely looking forward to trying your brand, and whatever we can do as the Fire Session to help champion your brand, we're definitely gonna do it and promote it.
Thank
So
you.
definitely, people, when I get my hands on the vodka, I'm gonna taste it and I'm gonna let you all know how great it is because I already know it's great. So we're
Yeah,
gonna we're gonna put that out in the atmosphere already. I know it's great. So
I
we're gonna make sure
appreciate
that
it.
we let you all know that. And before we get up out of here, is there anything and type of advice or anything inspirational, motivational you would like to leave with the audience?
Yes, just take take your time in everything that it is that you're doing, whether it's with your business, your family, your job. Take each moment that you wake up and pray, thanking them for actually waking you up in the morning, loving yourself, understanding what love feels like, understand what love feels like when you're dealing with our culture and our people. Don't be afraid to love. Don't be afraid to give information out that someone needs. Because when you are no longer here, you can't take that information to the grave with you and be okay with that. So that's pretty much it.
That is 100% correct, and we appreciate you coming and letting us know about your amazing brand and
Thank
giving us
you.
this information because the people in our audience are inspired by the many guests that we have, and we're glad that we were able to lock you in.
Thank
Benji ran across your brand and he kept telling me about it and telling me about it. He was like, "Man, we got to get her on the show." And I'm
you.
like, "Okay, we'll definitely do that because if people know us, we're about championing, especially our people. It's nothing against anybody else,
Right,
but there are plenty other platforms out there for some other people. But we got to
right.
make room for our own first. So we
Definitely.
definitely wanted to make sure that we got you on here, and we will keep patching in with you to make sure that we champion your brand again. We got people in the comments saying they'll cop some. So yes, we're gonna put the information out there so
Thank
you all can find her brand and you all can order it. I'm pretty sure there's a few different ways you can get it, so you will have no excuse. You will have to try this product
you.
definitely.
Right, right, right.
So we appreciate you taking time out to join us today. And I say us because I'm talking about my squad that
Yes.
wasn't able to be with me today. So Big Ken had to roll solo, but we appreciate Miss Lala Foreman for joining us and
Thank you.
her brand. Black Storm. We're not gonna say Blackstorm Vodka because she said she got a distribution. She got a lot of stuff going on under
Yes.
that name. So when
Hmm.
y'all hear that name Black Storm and you're talking about some liquor, it's Miss Lala Foreman
Yes,
that's behind the scenes, you know what I'm
definitely.
saying, running that thing. So we gotta support her and show her love. Again, we appreciate you. We're gonna stay in touch.
Okay.
Y'all follow her on social media. Tell them where to follow you on social media so they can run your numbers up.
Right, on all social media platforms, Blackstorm Vodka. Just search it. It is going to come up everywhere. If you want to look at the different brands that I have, you can look under on Instagram, Blackstorm_wine_spirit. And then you can also go on the website, the Blackstorm brand. And
The
everything is
website.
there. You see them.
The
Yes, the
website, the
Blackstorm brand.
Blackstorm brand. You heard
Yes.
that, the Blackstorm brand. Go to the website, look at the many offerings that they have, and pick something, man. Buy
Definitely.
something. Support.
Yes. You
That's
will
what we
not be
do.
disappointed. You will
That's
not
what
be
we
disappointed.
do. Okay. Well, again, we appreciate you stopping by,
Thank
spending a little time with us. We'll allow you to continue to partake in the rest of your day and the rest of
you.
your evening. Cause
Thank you.
I say all the time, I say night and things like that, but I be forgetting sometimes. I'm in Texas, so
Uh,
the time difference
right.
is a little different. So you got a little bit more time in your
Yes.
day there to do some things. But we appreciate you. We're in your good graces.
Thank you.
We'll support your brand, and like I said, just y'all go support this young lady because she got a lot going on, good things, and we need to champion the brands that
Yes.
are for our people, no doubt.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
No problem at all. You all take
Right.
care.
You as well. Thank you.
All right. So my people, y'all already know what time it is. It's time to wrap this thing up. I don't got my people with me today, so it's weird. It actually is weird, and I missed Benji Banks, the man, the brand, Trisha Michelle. They had some important things that they had to take care of today. But we only got one episode left after this one for this season, and it will be next week, right? It'll be next Tuesday. We got a very, very interesting topic that we have coming your way, so stay tuned. Y'all already know how it goes down on the topic sessions, right? We're not doing an interview, we're doing a topic, and the topic is going to have something to do with dating, and it's going to be a very interesting topic, so stay tuned. I'm telling you, you won't want to miss it because we have a lot of guests joining us, and it's the conversation is going to be wild. I'm telling you that now. So don't miss the season finale next Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure you set your reminder. Make sure you follow on the websites. Make sure you following us on all social media platforms, on Facebook, YouTube, IG. You can go and search Fiyah Session, Fiyah Session, on all social media platforms, and we'll pop right up. Y'all make sure y'all go to their YouTube page, hit like and subscribe. We're trying to run those numbers up because you know what? We're trying to get this information out and these interviews out for people so they can learn, what they need to learn, and try some new things because we're exposing people to a lot of different new stuff. Also, you can follow me on social media at Big Ken's Comedy on IG, Big Ken's Comedy on Twitter, Big Ken's Comedy on Facebook. I'm trying to run my numbers up too so we can keep bringing y'all the goodness of the world, the jokes, the entertainment, and, make your day just a little bit better, a little bit more special. So y'all make sure y'all tune in next week. As usual, we appreciate y'all. We love you all. This genuine. We appreciate the support as always. Y'all already know what it is. The Fiyah Session. Peace. Thank you for tuning in to the Fiyah Session. Follow us on all social media platforms. Just search Fiyah Session.